a personal Instagram account here? And who has 2 personal Instagram accounts? Why? Can I ask why? Mm. Yeah, my reason for having 2 personal Instagram accounts is I have one for my family and friends back home and one for traveling. Same, right? Yeah. And this is because most of my family back home and my friends, they might think that I'm rich because they always see my pictures traveling the world and going around. One day I'm in Bali, one day I'm in Japan. And they think I'm super rich and I'm super successful, but the truth is I'm just cat sitting someone's cat or somewhere, you know. But yeah, it's okay, let them think. But at some point it got very uncomfortable for me, so I kind of split my Instagram accounts. So I have one for what I can show to my friends and family that don't travel so often, and another one for the ones who understand our lifestyle a bit better. Yeah. So who am I? I'm Adriana from Brazil. I come from a background, my family was quite poor, like lower middle class in Brazil. So we never had much money to travel. I always loved the idea of traveling and getting to know new cultures, but we never had that much money. So we had also to think about creative ways to do this back home also. So my mom would borrow the house of a friend or something like that to go on vacations once a year. And then as I grew up, I got to know different ways of traveling as well. So I got a lot of scholarships that they also offer accommodation. And I got jobs that offered accommodation as part of the package as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And currently, I have 2 home bases. I live between Bulgaria and Malta mainly. And I created this community called Nomad Lighthouse. Why I'm talking about traveling without paying for accommodation? Because this is one of the biggest costs. It's more than 30% of the cost of traveling, according to most of the research. And how did I start paying zero for accommodation? I had different phases in my life, like all of us, of course. So in 2005, the first time I went abroad in my life, I used a lot of Couchsurfing. Who knows Couchsurfing? Yeah, so Couchsurfing is one of the things we're going to talk about. But basically, people used to offer their couch for travelers to stay for free. I think the website changed a lot with the time, and that's why I'm not using that much anymore. But it was a big resource for me by the time. Then in 2013, after I finished my master's, I started my expat phase. And in the expat phase, I got a scholarship for the university, including accommodation. And after that, I got work contracts, including accommodation. So I was already not paying for my accommodation. And in 2019, I went full nomad. And in this phase, in 2022, I discovered this platform called HomeExchange. This was a game changer for me. And since then, I've been traveling mostly doing home swapping. And this is the main thing I'm going to talk about. But we are going to talk about nine different ways of traveling without paying for the accommodation. House sitting, pet sitting, work exchange, volunteering. I'm going to ask you guys also to gauge a little bit of the experience that you might have in these areas, because for me it's also interesting to know where to focus more next time. It's a lot of information for 20 minutes, so don't worry too much. In the end, I'm going to provide a QR code so you can download a PDF with all the links. So first, house sitting and pet sitting. Who has done house sitting or pet sitting here? For those who don't know what I'm talking about, basically, many people like to travel, but they have pets. And then when they travel, they want their pets to be cared for, right? So, so basically, many people offer their homes for someone to go there and take care of their pets and also of the house, depending on the place where you live. You cannot leave the house unattended for too long. And this is quite common. There are specialized platforms. Trusted House Sitters, I think, is the most popular one and the largest as well by far. Normally, to start pet sitting and house sitting, you need to have some experience with that, because otherwise they will not trust their pets, of course, to someone without experience. So my recommendation when you start with these kind of things is try to pet sit some animals from I don't know, someone from your family, your friends, and then you can get some reviews, references, and then you can start getting from other people as well. Another way is work exchange or volunteering. Many platforms and even co-livings, actually, they offer opportunities for volunteering. So you volunteer your skills, you provide some service, you work for a few hours, and then they offer accommodation as a kind of a payment, counter payment, yeah? For work exchange and volunteering, the main platform is Workaway. Who has used Workaway? Yeah, a few, yeah. And in the past, there were many opportunities in the countryside, but nowadays you can find absolutely everything. Even many co-livings, and they offer opportunities for people to work as a volunteer, community manager, or something like that for a while, like offering social media services, or you can do whatever is your expertise for a couple of hours, and then in exchange you get accommodation for a month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever you agree with them. And we have also some platforms specifically for volunteering. And I put as a note at the bottom, yeah, you can also check in Facebook groups, but many co-livings, they offer opportunities directly in their websites. So for instance, I'm involved in this project, Co-living Sankovo, and Co-living Sankovo has some volunteering opportunities, and then they host people in exchange for their work. Normally what happens is you work up to 20 hours a week. It happens a lot in hotels, hostels. You work at the reception, or you do some social media work for them. You record some videos. You support with some internal work, administrative work, and then you get the accommodation for free. I mean, not for free because you are working. Yeah? Another way is hospitality exchange networks. In these hospitality exchange networks, you really don't pay with anything. It's basically intercultural exchange. So people receive, in many cultures, people receive people in their homes to get to know other cultures. Many people want to know the world, but they not necessarily like to travel or want to travel or can travel for different circumstances. So this kind of hospitality exchange is a way for people who cannot travel to get in touch with the world and travelers and get to know different perspectives as well. So the top platform here is Couchsurfing, the main one that I have mentioned to you guys. Couchsurfing works like this. Basically, you offer a couch or a bed or a mattress or whatever you have available in your house to someone that is traveling by. But they also have different means to make people meet. So there are meetups that happen in every city. So when you travel to a place, even if you have already your accommodation, but you don't know anybody, you can also contact a Couchsurfing website, and then you can check what are the meetups happening, or people who just want to hang out is a very good way also to get in touch with locals and learn about their culture. Be Welcome is also similar, and there is this one very interesting called Warm Showers. It's a hospitality exchange platform for cyclists. So people are cycling back and forth, and then they need a shower, so they can find a place where they are welcome to have a shower, share a meal with the person who hosts them. And Servas International, it's more like a kind of a peacemaking, peace building organization. And Trust Roots is for hitchhikers. Now my favorite, home swapping. Home swapping is something very useful for digital nomads because, well, depends, I don't know, each person travels with a different pace. I was a fast traveler, now I'm a slow traveler. So when I travel to a place, I want to stay at least 1 month. And to stay 1 month per place is quite expensive, depending on the place you choose, right? So for instance, 2 years ago, I stayed in Paris for 1 whole month. And if I would have paid for an Airbnb, it would have costed me probably 3,000 euros or something like that. But then I found a HomeExchange, one bedroom apartment. I had a view of the top of the Eiffel Tower, and I didn't pay anything for it. And what I have in exchange, I receive people in my own home. Many people think they cannot do that because they don't own a place. but you can do home exchange even if you have a rented place. Of course, if your landlord agrees to that. Yeah, so ideally you discuss this beforehand. If your landlord is not very understanding, there are always ways around as well if you don't do this very often. So for instance, there was one time when I moved to Gozo, I was living in a beautiful house with 3 bedrooms, and I was renting it for a while my house was getting ready. And my landlady, she's an elderly lady, she doesn't really understand about home exchange and these kind of things. And she was very clear from the beginning, I don't want subletting of my place. So I said, okay, I'm not subletting your place, I'm just bringing friends here. And in home exchange, you normally have a more personal contact with the people that go to your house. So I had a video call with these people that were coming to the place, and I said, listen, if you see this lady on the street, can you tell her you are my friends? And in fact, we became friends later. I traveled to their place as well. But yeah, it's also a way around. And they stayed about 1 month in my place, and I was traveling elsewhere. Community swapping is also a thing that happens. So for instance, if somebody here owns an Airbnb, there are communities on Facebook that Airbnb owners can use to find other Airbnb owners that want to swap with them. Yeah, this is also a possibility. How the home exchange model works. There are many different platforms. I use one main platform called Home Exchange itself. It's very easy to remember. And there are 2 different types of exchange. One is exchange one-to-one, like reciprocal. So I go to your house, you come to my house at the same time. This is quite difficult to happen, especially for nomads, because we tend to stay longer in places. And most people travel for 5 days, 1 week. They don't have so much vacation, right? So for me, honestly, in 4 years, I never did this type of exchange. I always do the second one, that is through guest points. What means gas points? It's a kind of a currency without being a monetary currency. So home exchange by gas points, you receive someone in your house, the platform suggests a pricing per night of your house based on the location, what are the facilities, the demand on the area, and so on. Similar to what happens in Airbnb, they suggest a price. You can adapt a little bit up and down. And then you receive these points when someone stays in your home. This is the only way to get points. You can also pay, but it's very expensive. It's not worth it. Yeah. So when you get the points and you accumulate certain number of points, you can choose to travel anywhere else, and then you search and pay with points. And this is what I have been doing for the past 4 years, basically, especially in longer stays. Something very interesting about this method is that you can use a certain arbitrage, because not necessarily having a place that is not so desirable means that you don't get too many points. Sometimes, because your location is not so popular, there are not so many home exchanges available there, and then you can advertise. There are communities also on Facebook where you can advertise your listing, and then you can ask who is interested in coming here in this time of the year, and then you accumulate your points, and then you can use for expensive places. So when I stayed in Paris, this is what I did. I had a 1 bedroom in Malta, and then I was staying in this place in Paris that I paid 100 points per night. And for my place, I was getting 130 points per night. So I even had more than I needed to stay in Paris for free. Another interesting thing is the platform offers some guarantees. And I used one of these guarantees last year. I was in the Nomad cruise to Japan last year, and then I was looking for accommodation in Tokyo. I got approved for a place in Tokyo, but then the laws changed in between, and then the lady canceled my home exchange, and I was already kind of on the way, and I got to be desperate, of course. But then the platform has some guarantees. I contacted them. They put someone trying to find me another place. They didn't find either because everybody was scared. And then in the end, there is a guarantee in this platform that you can, if they don't find a replacement for an exchange that was already approved, basically they pay you back the cost of your hotel. So I stayed in a hotel through booking.com, and then I provided the receipts and they paid me back. The top platforms for home swapping are HomeExchange, the one I use the most. There is another one called HomeLink, a similar concept. And People Like Us is also very, very popular. I never used, but I have many friends using it. And Nomad Exchange, I also tried to use, but to be honest, I didn't get any exchange through them yet because it's a new platform. Nomad is specifically for nomads. And it guarantees that basically the place you go to has a workspace and is more catered for nomads. Another way is using travel reward points. So many credit cards, when you redeem miles or you redeem points, you can use them to book accommodations as well. So for instance, here we have a lot of programs. There are 2 pages of these. Don't worry so much about taking pictures, but each of these airlines and mileage programs, they have their own websites for hotels where you can use those miles to book hotels. Another thing that can be done also, maybe it's not for free completely, but at least you can pay part of your accommodation through the points, right? Another thing is some of these companies, they have Booking.com embedded into their websites. And then when you book something through them, you also get some reward points back. So you can also use the other way around. This is just a list of all the different platforms that can be used. But another trick here is not for free, but it helps to save some money. Booking.com and Agoda.com. Do you know the difference? Basically, they belong to the same company. They have more or less the same places, but Booking.com is more kind of premium, so it has the best rooms. Agoda.com has cheaper rooms because normally they have the same hotels, but they're not so desirable rooms, like something without views or something with a small window and so on, but you still have access to the same facilities, basically. I normally pay less than 50 euro for accommodation when I book through these platforms. Because also when you get to a certain level of loyalty, basically they start giving you more and more discounts and perks. They give you free breakfast, they give you discounts, and they give you even welcome drinks. This is a not so traditional way, monasteries or religious spiritual housing. So if you are soul searching, like many of us are, you can also try to find some of these monasteries and go for a kind of a personal development, spiritual retreat. And normally you can stay in these monasteries against some donation or doing something for them. There are some examples of monasteries here, and mostly are in the UK. And Vipassana centers. So Vipassana centers are these centers of meditation around the world where people stay retreated for at least 10 days without any contact with the external world. You cannot do physical activities and etc. And normally you can stay in these places also for free in India and other places. It's possible that you have to go through an application process because they need to know your intentions. And of course, when you stay in this type of accommodation, it's very important to observe the local culture and the costumes. And some of them don't host women, by the way. This is the dream of every nomad, become a tester for accommodation. But this is not so easy to find. There is this platform, it's the only one I know. Maybe if you guys know any other, please let me know. But it's normally just by invite. You need to know someone who is already in this platform, and then you can get an invitation to join. There is also a way that you can proactively apply, and then you can apply for someone to invite you. But yeah, it's a double process. This is super underrated, but is one of the easiest and most accessible way for everybody, right? Stay with friends or family. Sometimes you might know a friend that you met in Thailand or in Bansko, and they have a place somewhere else where you want to go. Maybe why not you reach out to them and ask, can I stay there? And then in exchange, you can stay in my place, or I can do something for you. I can help you with your social media. I can help you with your accounting, whatever you can offer, yeah? And this is something that I also used a lot. scholarships with sponsored accommodation. There are multiple types of scholarships and platforms that offer accommodation as part of the package when you get the scholarship. Erasmus Plus is a program from the European Union. I studied through Erasmus Mundus. They also had this kind of scholarship, including accommodation. Then there are UNESCO fellowships, DAD scholarships. DAD is an organization from Germany that wants to bring foreign students who want to learn German and also to learn about the culture. And they also include accommodation in some of their scholarships. One thing I didn't mention about the hospitality platforms, there is one platform that I also like very much, but it's only for women. It's called HomeExchange. And basically for solo women traveling around the world, if you don't know anybody in a place and you want to stay in a safe place, HomeExchange is an option, yeah? And also just to meet up someone or to hang out.